Tell me these two aren't related. Tell me these two aren't related. Stop playing me, Nakaba. Tell me these two aren't related. They aren't related. How did you get into my house? Before we have this review of Chapter 24 of Fortnite the Apocalypse, please do me a favor, leave your own thoughts on the chapter in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here, and here we are to review Chapter 24 of Fortnite the Apocalypse, aka Who's the Leader, aka Anne gets Anne realizes she's not top tier. Okay, let's get into it. So we open up the chapter and the gang is traveling. We schmoving. We got away from Sistana, and one of the most interesting things to note is that Dante's just casually flipping Leonis' old blade, the dragon handle. He's just casually throwing it up and down in the air. And I know they technically are safe right now. Ironside's gone, and probably they can't be tracked that easily. But I love how like this big thing that was so hard to get is now just casually like, whew, whew. I'm shocked he doesn't drop it. Like, I'm pretty sure Nakaba would have made that a gag, but no, he didn't. He hasn't dropped it just yet. And the great thing is, we see that while they have gotten a little bit away, and Donnie's like actually being a little bit concerned for Anne, being like, yo, you know, this is like the last time you may see your town, so you can just go back if you really don't want to come. This is your last chance to turn away. And Anne is just super happy. Like, she's finally ready to go on out into the world and be a holy knight. I think that's very, very cool for Anne's character. Like, to give us a character that actually has like solid motivation out of our group. I mean, like, to be fair, Percival has solid motivation, kind of. It's just to get revenge against his dad and like make him answer for killing his grandfather. But in terms of like an actual solid goal, Anne's our real main one right now. She wants to be a holy knight. That's the goal. She has an end game. She knows what she's going for. She has a person to follow behind in terms of her mother. Like, she's doing good. I really respect that. Especially good for Nakaba's character to have a character that's female, that's not focused on love or like any sort of love relationship. And I know you had Merlin last series, but like, we don't talk about Merlin. But actually, technically, that was a love relationship too, kind of. You squinted it the right way. But regardless of that, we do get to see, yo, this madness, bro. Sylvan is my boy. Sylvan is my boy. I love this stupid horse. I love him. I love him. He's fantastic. His stubby legs. Why is he so top heavy? Like, unbelievably top heavy. That man is a whole beefcake up top. But look at his tiny stubby legs, bro. Like, when I first saw this, I was just shaking. I was tickled in a way that I wasn't expecting to be tickled. Like, bro, I actually lost my mind when I saw this stupid horse. And my favorite thing about him is at first he seems like just like a pretty normal, like he just looks like an animal, essentially. Like, he's just looking up at a butterfly. He's pretty distracted. Like, he's not anything special. And we get to hear that Anne has, like, been with Sylvan since forever. And Sylvan was supposed to be, like, their payment for saving the town. But, yo, Anne's dad did them dirty as heck. Like, legit took all the good horses in order to help fix the town. Didn't give them a wagon. Didn't do anything. Left them with one horse that Anne herself can barely fit on. And then expects that to be their transport. So they're all walking by foot. And golly, I just love this stupid horse. Like, at first it was like, why Nakaba, why? But like, after looking at it, like, it took me a minute, but I already like him better than Hawk. I'm not even gonna lie. But then we get to see, yo, I think Sylvan scales directly to Talisker, bro, because he actually managed to damage and amped Percival, who's stronger than the fight with Talisker. Meanwhile, a post and Percival managed to body bag Talisker with absolutely no damage. So Sylvan easily scales above Holy Knight level. Facts. Simple here. Do you see the mark he left on Percival's head? That is obviously damage. I'm scaling him Sylvan in the next versus battle. Get ready for it. But regardless of that, we do get to see that Sylvan, despite being like pretty confident and kind of intimidating with that whole leer he has, he is quite the character because he has no energy. And to be fair, I also have friends of the shorter variety. They do not like it when you walk fast or walk very long. Their legs are stubby. So we do get to see that Sylvan is a little bit too tired. But then we get in a relationship that I wasn't really expecting. Like, I should have figured that Sin could talk to animals, considering he is one. But considering he always just speaks English, and like, it's like a thing that happened last series with Hawk too, but it was like less emphasized on because the only character he ever really talked to, Hawk in particular, was Oslo, I'm pretty sure, off the top of the domer. Like, any animal we actually had him have communication with. So to see these two, Sin and Sylvan, already talking, it's actually really, really cool, because Sylvan goes to like talk smack against Sin, like, yo, Fox, you got something to say? Like, what you want to do? What you trying to do? What you trying to get into, bro? And Sin's like, bro, I will eat you alive if you do not keep moving. And then Sylvan instantly gets back up. And I love the dynamic that's already established there. And that kind of plays into, like, the lesson of the chapter for Anne, at least, that, yeah, Sin's a leader, all right. Like, she's trying to get Sylvan up, and Sylvan is like, nah, bro, I'm too tired. I can't do this, dog. But the moment that Sin threatens him with that glare, I think this is the first time we've ever seen Sin actually open his eyes. Like, am I tripping? Have we seen Sin open his eyes before? Like, of course, they look like normal fox eyes. But still, like, that's the first time we've ever seen it. And for it to be thrown away like this, like, not necessarily thrown away. This is Sin threatening somebody. But it's, like, kind of against the gag character, which is what Sylvan, I'm assuming, is. Watch Sylvan just be, like, the father of chaos or something like that. Just in sealed horse form. But we'll get into that. Then we get to see that we mentioned the kingdom of Leonis. Like, that's the end game. That's the goal. And I'm shocked Anne didn't, like, ask that before. Like, she literally just started following them with a whole horse and didn't ask where they're going. Like, does Anne's dad have no idea where she's going? That's kind of weird. But I guess it'd be better to not tell them they were going to Leonis, since Leonis is considered, like, a danger spot. But however, Anne is super excited. Like, she's ready to go see Leonis, the best kingdom ever. It produces the most amazing holy knights, apparently. And to be fair, we were pretty Leonis-centric, and Danafor's dead, and Edinburgh's dead. Well, who knows? Maybe revived by Death Pierce by this point. And that's interesting, though. I don't know. I feel like, well, that's the thing. We only got to see really Camelot and Leonis, because Danafor's destroyed, Edinburgh's destroyed, and we never really got to hear about many other kingdoms. Even Escanor's home kingdom is destroyed. So I guess this would be the only ones producing top-tier holy knights. So, yeah, it makes sense. And then we get to see that Anne is like a huge Seven Deadly Sins fangirl. She's like all of us. It's kind of funny how Nakaba fit in fans of his own characters within the series. But we do get to see that Percival, once again, doesn't know anything about them, for good reason. I doubt his grandfather was like, hey, you want to hear about the Seven Deadly Sins? So it makes sense. But we do get to see this awesome shot of the gang. I'm not going to lie. Like, we get to see Bond wielding Horseshoes. And I love, well, not necessarily love, but I find it interesting that some of them have their weapons, like their divine weapons, their sacred treasures. Like, Diane has Gideon. I'm assuming that's Bond wielding Horseshoes. Actually, it doesn't even look like Horseshoes. It doesn't have the same detailing that Horseshoes does. So Bond isn't even wielding Horseshoes. But King still has Chastieful, and then Merlin still has Alden. But Gother isn't wielding the Twin Bow Harriet. Meliodas is still wielding Dragon Handle. Escanor is just wielding them hands, you know, the ultimate weapon. So I don't know. That was a very interesting shot. And I do like how, like, it's sort of just become common knowledge that the Seven Deadly Sins were traitors, or branded as traitors, but actually, like, the saviors of the kingdom multiple times. And true, I guess, yeah, they did defeat the king of the demon race. But they also, I guess, chaos may have not been as widespread or cast. I mean, that victory may have just, that dub may have just went straight to Arthur. Like, they may have been like, yeah, whatever, you can go ahead and hold that, buddy. Don't do anything dumb with it, though. But then Arthur's doing things dumb with it. So, yeah, this is very, very cool to see that they've gotten their recognition, and now they're Mr. Worldwides. Mr. and Mrs. Worldwides. So, we do get to see that she also manages to cop, like, the I haven't seen this drawing, at least in the manga, in, like, darn, like, since I think the last time we saw this poster was, like, maybe late 200s in the Seven Deadly Sins manga. It has been forever since we've seen this darn poster. But Anne has it. She has the collector's edition. She's about to sell that for however much currency is in this world. What is the currency in this world? Did we ever learn that? I feel like it's just gold. Is it gold? It may be gold. Or I'm tripping. I don't know. I'll see. There's currency mentioned later on. I'll see if I can remember. But we do get to see she has it. And Honey instantly goes in for the low blow. Like, so you like old men, huh? And Donnie, bro, you may be a whole coward, but you are hilarious. You and Sylvain definitely carry the whole the whole comedic factor in this group. I don't know where my English went. But then we get to see that Anne is ready to be a holy knight just like them, and she also apparently does not like older men, but she probably does. I don't know. There's a reason she's carrying around that poster specifically. And we do get to see that Anne is about to question them on something. But also a weird interaction is that, like, Sylvain or Sylvan, I keep saying I'll be real. When I first read Sylvan's name, my mind instantly went to Sylvain from Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I can't get that out of my head. So if I mispronounce him as Sylvain and I don't correct myself, y'all know what it is. But then we get to see that even though he was just feeling threatened by Sin, Sylvan isn't afraid to, like, tease Sin at all. But then Anne goes into the big question, who's the leader? And I guess like she is naturally inclined to question that because you know the seven deadly sins had a leader, and this is technically her own little holy knight group. So she needs to. Well, at least she thinks that they need to have a leader. But then like everyone's like, yo, what? Well, like not even what's a leader because that's what Percival asked. I'm shocked. Percival knows weird things. Like he's cognitive on a lot of stuff, but weird like I get some of Varghese not telling him some stuff. But you didn't tell him what a leader was? Like, I feel like that's basic English. But fine, that's whatever. But then we get to see And is running down the group and is, like, essentially characterizing all of them, like, listing their marketable character traits. Like, she says Percival's the mascot, while being the most powerful fighter there. Accurate. We at the same time get to see that she thinks Nassim is a strategic talent with the good support abilities. Accurate. We also get to see that Donnie's the bait. Also accurate. However, to be fair, like, that like legit was just their character definitions. Like I bet Nagaba just ripped that straight out of his notes. Like he designed the characters, has little like character trait sheets next to them. Is like, oh, let me just make Anne say this. Bada bing, bada boom. And then we get to see that she's like, oh, well, if y'all don't have a leader, I can do the job. And like they're just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like I guess like in their mind, either they had already pre-registered Sin as the leader, or they just don't care. Because it doesn't matter to them. They're just a band of idiots traveling together, and I feel like you're putting too much thought into this. And we do get to see that Donnie does get a little bit of support from Percival. I love the little people that Percival just spawns. Because now that they're constantly with him, they're always like helping him express his personality or like how little he cares about the situation. Because he's literally just, his little dudes are just dancing. Like they're just breaking it down. And we do get to see that Donnie is on that holy knight respect. Percival tells him, wait, yo, Donnie was a good dude. He helped out that family. And they called him a holy knight. And then we get a sort of like little mini rivalry between Anne and Donnie. Like they're both trying to be holy knights in their own way. But like Anne's all about that holy knight life. Meanwhile, Donnie's a little bit on the, you know, like it'd be kind of cool, but I'm not really fully rocking with it. I don't like that. It shows the two different dynamics of these characters and like how their interests sort of align, but are different in a way. So I think that's pretty cool. And then we get to see the real leader just stroll up. And, like, Sin, I'm assuming he's doing this whole, like, walking journey thing purely as a training thing. Because the man pops a map out of nowhere. And I know that's not anything major. But this map literally appears out of nowhere. He grabs it with his somehow prehensile tail. Or do foxes? I don't think foxes have prehensile tails. This is the world of magic pencils. Just stop asking questions. So we do get to see, he pops the map out. And then he shows us, like, this map of Britannia. And, like, not gonna lie, this is a pretty barren map. Like, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 the remains of Camelot. Like, I know Britannia isn't the biggest, but for your whole map of an entire, like, landmass that have 7 places on it, it's kind of whack, I'm not gonna lie. But whatever, we do get to see that this is the squad's journey, their goal. They need to cross the Dalflare range of mountains. And we do get to see that Sin is definitely not spitting. He's like, they're going to another town, which I'm assuming Sin knows something is there. And we also get to see that Anne is like finally putting some respect on her name, or at least trying to be the leader. Because she's like, yo, no side journeys. We are crossing the mountains and getting to Leonis as quickly as possible because I need a fangirl. And I don't blame you, Anne. Let's do it. Let's skip right there. However, Sin's like, come on now. The realm, the mountains, they're dangerous. And if we go there without preparing, we're going to die. And the weird thing is, like, Anne is like lying again, huh? And she's like sweating and tilting her head to the side as she says this. She has like a nervous grin on her face. Is she lying? Is that why she's doing that? I don't know. That's like me not being able to interpret what she's doing there. But, or is she just able to tell that Sin is lying? Because Sin doesn't give like a reaction like, oh, no, he doesn't give a reaction that says like, oh no, I've been figured out. Or he doesn't, no, maybe not even that reaction. He doesn't give a reaction of like, bro, you're capping. Like, I'm not lying right now. Like, I lie to you all the time. This is not the wave. He gives a look like, oh, that's right. You can read intentions and truth. Darn it. Like, I always figured Anne's power would be like problematic for Sin as long as she can get him to tell the truth. Because Nagaba has very pointedly kept her out of situations where they've asked Sin questions up to this point. So I'm very interested to see how these two interact, because immediately we sort of just write it off. Like, these two have this little interaction, and then Percival is like, oh, great, another city. Like, they completely ignore Anne. And we don't see this. Nakaba just keeps writing it off, and I feel like including Anne's power to be that, you should have like done a little bit more with it. Like, don't have Anne like lose all authority that quickly, but fine, it's whatever. And I'm glad that Donnie points it out, because two of them need some new clothes. Like, Nasians, I know you feel that draft on your back, bro. Like, there's no way you're just casually chilling with a whole hole in your back and you just feel nothing. Percival, same to you, bro. You have a whole rip in your clothes. What is going on? And then we get to see that Anne is just super angry because she's not being respected as a leader. And Sylvan, I guess like Sylvan went from, okay, I am afraid of Sin, to, okay, Sin's cool enough. Like, he's now just asking if there are carrots, and Sin's like, I don't really care. I don't really know. I'm literally just lying to y'all right now. And then we cut over to the what is this? If someone who can read, which apparently isn't me, Nortfall, Gruntfall, something fall, the bar, and someone's asking for Aberdeen Ale, another round of it, and people are like, yo, you had a little bit too much to drink there, buddy. And the thing is, we get to see that this drunk isn't just any drunk, it's the big man Howser. And I know in the grand scheme of things, it has been like 6 years since the end of Seven Deadly Sins. I'm pretty sure. I think it's been 6 years, because Camelot's destruction is said to be 16 years ago, but there was a 10-year time skip for Tristan's birthday, and then Seven Deadly Sins ends on that note. However, Nakaba, like, you couldn't have changed them up a little bit, like the 5 o'clock something, like a little bit more than just a 5 o'clock shadow. Like, I preferred when he had the whole beard. I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit of an older looking design. Like, he looked a lot older, but I would have preferred that. Like, and I bet he's just gonna shave this a little bit off too, and he's gonna go back to his old self. But fine, I'm happy to see Howser. I'm happy to see that he's finally here. But apparently, he's still the captain of the Holy Knight Corps, and I thought that was gonna be Guild Thunder's role after a while. But I guess maybe 6 years have passed and he's just still leading. And I guess he's sad because, like, his son, Donnie, has left him. No, I'm kidding. But I bet he's sad just because, like, he's lonely. Like, both both Guild Thunder and Griamore, by end of series Seven Deadly Sins, had significant others and probably have kids by this point. Meanwhile, Howser, there is no end game for Howser. Howser's sort of just been, like, he's been stuck at a luck, really, so I wouldn't be shocked if he's just drinking his woes away as he leads the Holy Knight Corps. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see him, regardless of how much I wish he had changed a bit more. I'm super happy to see him. I hope he interacts with our gang. I hope he's related, or maybe not related, fine. Even if they aren't related, I just hope he has like some interactions with Donnie, because those two seem to be very similar in character, especially by this point. And yeah, that's really it for the chapter. I don't necessarily have much to say. This was definitely like a transitionary chapter. I wouldn't call it a filler chapter, because we do get Sylvan, the new, not best boy. I can't give that away from Nasians and Pelgard. Like, they're still two of my favorite characters. However, we do get like this whole interaction. We do really firmly establish that Sin is the real leader, no matter how hard Anne tries, and that Anne and Sin are going to have an interesting dynamic. I feel like this whole group is going to have an interesting dynamic. The only issue is, I feel like Nasians is kind of like only attached to Percival now. I feel like he needs a bit more interaction with the others, because while Anne and Donnie have something, Anne and Percival have something, Donnie and Percival have something, Nasians and Percival have something, Sin has something with everybody. Less and less does it like Nasians just feels a little bit like zoned out from the rest of the group. So I hope he does get a little more interaction. That's really it. I give this chapter like a solid 7, just because not much happens in it. And while the reveal of Howser at the end is very, very cool, it's nothing more than a reveal. It doesn't give us anything about him other than the fact that he's a drunk. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the chapter. Please tell me yours in the comment section down below. I'm actually really interested to hear it, because this is like a much more relaxed chapter. Do you guys enjoy these sort of like pseudo slice of life-ish chapters, or do you like more heavy plot, character discussion, meat? Like, I don't know, what do you guys like more? I'll admit I'm much more of a like heavy, like serious character interaction kind of guy. That's why this chapter loses a few points for me. It does seem a little bit fillery, but that's just me. Please tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.